Hello and welcome everybody to another chase race here from the Output Racing League. Race number, I think it's 16 now. Yeah, race number 16 from the ISM Raceway. And you can see some guys on the screen just having a little bit of fun at the moment. We're in the middle of practice right now. Very shortly we'll get these guys lined up for a pit party. At the moment, your pace setter, which has become the par of the course, Christian Budd, the man on screen, is 17 car. Christian has been absolutely dominating, but he's not getting it all his own way. He's only 3/1000ths of a second faster than Jeremy Sanchez right now, which is literally just about nothing. Anyway, guys, we're going to get these guys on track. We're going to actually be bringing someone else up to the broadcast booth to handle the pit party, and that is going to be our current 4th place driver at Burgess. Let's get these guys lined up for pit party. Oh, that's the wrong button. Sorry, guys. The people getting ready for the pit party in their own special way. We're going to bring the one Matt Burgess up into the broadcast booth and have a quick chat with him. Hey Matt, do you have a copy?
I gotcha.
We're very quiet.
Oh, hang on a second. That's weird. I think it's supposed to.
Still very quiet. So we just about got everyone ready and lined up for this pit party. It'll be interesting to see whether we can even hear Matt over the cars.
Alright, I have to yell.
You're gonna have to yell.
Alright. So I'm going into one. On the other side. You gotta make sure you brake. Some people cut the corner here. I tend not to. Come into 3, brake a little hard. Roll through the corner. And try to get a run off. Back to 1. Easiest way to brake for 1 would be look at the cones on the fence as a braking marker. Same with going into 3. And you'll see a lot of that. People losing it off the corners around the braking zone. Looks like I got Gerald behind me. He's always fast. That time I got too hard on the gas coming off the floor, pushed out. And missed my braking mark. Alright, so this next lap, I'll come into the pits. Pitting here is not too difficult. Since you're already slowing down. And that's how you get in. Oh, I got the speeding.
Well, thank you very much, Matt, for taking us through a few laps here at Phoenix. And good luck for the race, mate.
Thank you.
Alright guys, so that was a very, very quietly spoken Matt Burgess. Just got to readjust my settings here. Had to turn iRacing way down so we could actually hear him. So let's go and rejoin some of these other guys who are on the track. So Matt Burgess there getting a little bit of a penalty coming into the pits, which is not something that you want to do, but hey, it's pushing the limit, all we can ask him to do. As we see Frank Isaacson going for a bit of a spin coming into the pits. So he's decided to bail and try again. See the one of Brandon Bennett going around as well. A little bit of help there from the two of Chris Champeau. Let's see the 5 of Mark Penticup with the 17 of Caleb Finn, Christian Budd, breathing down his neck. I don't know why I called him Caleb for a second. That's just... wow. It has been a very, very long night and day for me here, guys. Oh, we see some more road rage as well. 54, Derek Myers going around. Not sure whose nose he came around on. But there's definite contact there. The 81 of Corey Williamson. Oh, 98 of Jerry Glenn. Just getting absolutely pummeled into the wall. Let's see what's happened to him. Just loose coming off of turn 1. Or 2, sorry. Turn 2. He's heading back out onto the track now. If you guys want any more information on this league, don't forget to go to the league website, outputracing.com. You can also just go down below the stream here and click on the Output website tab in the information section down the bottom there. Well, there's only a couple of races left to go in the season. We're going to wait until the start of the next season before we start taking in new people. So make sure you get your registration in now. Brandon Bennett on the screen again. Currently 11th. Just 0.474 of a second off the leading time set by Derek Myers. Derek coming out with a little bit of a surprise here, going half a tenth faster than Christian Budd. see the 38 of Thomas Harmon is in the server, currently P5. As day has turned into night, things are going to start getting a little bit faster with these cars. Because nighttime is the right time. That's when the track temp goes down and the speeds go up. Got 17 minutes left in practice here. These guys to show you what they can do before we get into qualifying and the races. We see Thomas Harmon smashing the wall coming off turn 4. Somehow managing to keep it off Frank. Frank is a very, very lucky boy there. Oh, and Frank has just hit Corey Williamson. Oh, and then Corey Williamson just got pile driven by the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, who's ended up on his roof. See Corey Williamson joining back onto the track now. Have a look and see who's on track. We've got the 17 of Christian Budd on track. We have the 98 of Jerry Glenn, currently P4. 38 of Thomas Harmon, currently 5th. The 13 of Travis Massia from P7. 88 of Jonathan Hernandez from 8th. 2 of Chris Champeau, currently 10th. The 1 of Brandon Bennett in 11th. The 24 of Frank Isaacson, 12th. 5 of Mark Penticup in 13th. The 81 of Corey Williamson in 14th. Now got league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez on the track as well. See what Jaron can do here. Going to his gyro cam. Hear how he goes in here. And he blinked out. He's back. Oh, a little bit of wall contact there. Gonna slow his lap down. 25.943, nowhere near his fast time. And he's been shuffled all the way down to 4th now. Thomas Harmon sneaking into P2. Now we see the 81 of Corey Williamson trying to track down the 5 of Mark Penticup. Corey just slowly chipping away at gaining more I rating. I know at one point, just a couple of weeks ago, he was down in the triple digits. Now worked his way back up to a 1094. It's good to see Corey getting back into it and getting good. Also, it is new build day here for iRacing. The A cars and the C cars have the new tyre model. The B cars don't have the new tyre model yet, but they will very soon. So I think we're going to be lucky enough here to not have to run a race with the new tyre model. So things will be as expected for these cars. But next season, when we go and do whichever car we're going to, it will be with the new tyre model, which will be very exciting actually to see how these guys can manage the tyre model. Do 2 of Chris Champeau on the screen, twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars. A really good result last week, ending up in an interview that we see the 4 Jaron Sanchez around 98 Jerry Glenn just smashes him. I see the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez was also involved. Oh, and Chris Champeau seems like he's lost it coming up in turn 2, hitting that inside wall. That looked like it hurt. That was a solid impact. See if we can wrestle these guys up into another pit party. as we see Derek Myers getting real close to Jaron Sanchez there after hitting the wall. Brandon Bennett diving down behind Jaron there just to get to the inside, coming up to a complete stop at one of the access points in the wall. Got Travis Massier in the 13 on the screen with his Gladiator paint scheme. Good looking paint scheme. I should also mention that the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez is actually in a new team himself. So his paint job will be a debut paint job for ORL here. Let's see if we can have a little bit of a good look at it here. Sim Sport is the team that he's in. They had a former pro dirt oval driver in the team as well now. So that's some exciting stuff for them. Jonathan Hernandez currently down in 8th. Not a good showing so far for debuting his new team here in ORL. But he'll get there. He's usually up towards the pointy end by the end of the race. It'll be interesting to see how he can manage to do it. Go back to looking at the 13 of Travis Massier coming up behind the league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez in the 4 car. Let's see if this will work. Pit party. See some people going full send as they're going to make their way back to the pits for the pit party. Heavy contact there for Travis Massier and Mark Pentecoff. See everyone starting to form up in the pits. Except for these two, Chris Champeau and Christian Budd still rolling around on the track. They're not interested in no pit party. Well, Christian might, but Chris Champeau, nah. See everyone trying to get themselves sorted out down here in some kind of an order. Looks like we're going to be getting led away by the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Let's go back up to the front of the pack and have a look at how we go here. Not the best camera angles available for ISM Raceway, but we're making do with what we got. getting ready for green. And they're off and racing. Jonathan Hernandez holding on to the lead at the moment. He's gonna have to fight Jerry Glenn and Christian Budd, who's coming around the outside. Couldn't quite get a run on Jerry there, but he came close. We've got a little bit of a cluster in the back of the pack here, a little bit. 3 wide coming off of turn 4. I can't English. Oh, we got contact just in front of this as well. I saw Ford Jaron Sanchez getting into Travis Massio. Travis spinning at the top of turn 2, coming through the dog leg. Still quite a bit of a pack here going on. 3 wide coming into turn 3. That's not going to work. Corey Williamson into Christian Pro after getting a tap from Brandon Bennett. So we could be seeing a bit of drama like this in the race as well, which will make things very interesting. Just in front of Frank here, we've got quite a spirited battle. 54 Derek Myers, the 86 of Gerald West, 38 Thomas Harmon, and the 4 Jaron Sanchez. They're having another look back up the front here. Jonathan Hernandez still holding on to the lead over Christian Budd and Jerry Glenn. Jerry and Christian have been fighting it out for that second position here in the pit party the entire time. And it looks like Christian finally getting the advantage and trying to make his march towards Jonathan Hernandez. Jonathan runs a little bit wide on entry. Christian gaining a lot of time on him. They're in 3 and 4 as they're coming down the main straight again. Christian closing within inches of that back bumper. Jonathan looks like he's just quite content there, running the slightly higher line compared to Christian Budd's low line run there in 3 and 4. Maybe trying to work on saving his tyres here a little bit, which is not a bad idea in all honesty. Christian Budd now with the inside run on Jonathan Hernandez. And Jonathan runs extra wide here to allow Christian Budd easy passage into the lead. Just behind Jerry, we've also got the 2 teammates forming, Derek Myers and Gerald West. Effectively 4th and 5th here in the pit party. See if these guys can get around Jerry Glenn, and they got Thomas Harmon right there behind him as well. Also had a very slidey Jaron Sanchez in the background. Like he's coming into the pits to make an adjustment. Looks like Derek might be struggling to try and find a way around Jerry here, but he gets the inside run now, cutting right down to the lowest he can possibly go on the dog leg. Cuts right up in front of Jerry Glenn. Hernandez coming into the pits. Or maybe not. That was weird by Hernandez. Derek Myers is in front of Jerry Glenn now. The 86 of Gerald West trying to work his way around Jerry now. We also see just there in the background Thomas Harmon trying to work his way around the inside of Gerald West. Not able to do anything with it just yet though. Gerald now trying to work around the outside of Jerry Glenn. Backs out of it because he was getting tight and aiming towards the wall. Now Thomas Harmon trying to work over the 98 of Jerry Glenn as we're coming through turns 3 and 4. 2.5 minutes left in practice. Oh, very close quarters there for Thomas and Jerry. Thomas now with the inside run, trying to gain the advantage, can't quite pull it off just yet. Maybe he'll get the run going into turns 1 and 2. And he does. He gets very clear now. But Jerry with the switchback, trying to get back underneath Thomas. Thomas trying to use all the momentum he can. Jerry just trying to stay there. Jerry sliding into Thomas. Thomas sliding. And that is the end of that battle. We see Jerry pulling over to the inside. Derek Myers still pushing on pretty hard here. Corey Williamson is out of the pits on fresher tyres than everyone else here. These guys that are racing around him are still on 14 lap old tyres. Chris Champeau is an exception to that with fresh tyres as well. But it's definitely ominous signs as Christian Budd still very dominant here in just, you know, pit party practice. Derek Myers with the top time though. Thomas Harmon P2, Christian Budd 3rd, Brendan Sanchez 4th, and Jerry Glennon 5th. Big Corey Williamson going around. That's not good for the young Corey. Oh, Frank just about plowed him in the arse. That was very close to some heavy contact. Alright guys, we're going to go take a quick break, and when we come back we should be getting ready to grid up here for round number 16 of the Output Racing League from the ISM Raceway. Alrighty, we are back live down here at the ISM Speedway. It's time to get gridded up and ready to go. On the front row, we have Derek Myers on pole with a 25.761 blistering time. And just a tenth of a second behind him in P2 will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Just behind them, we will have the 86 of Gerald West staying behind his teammate. Outside of him will be the 98 of Jerry Glenn. On the inside of row 3, we will have Matt Burgess in the 12 car, followed by the 24 of Frank Isaacson. We'll have the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux in a great qualifying effort compared to where he's been at lately in 7th. On his outside will be the 2 of Chris Champeau. We have the 13 of Travis Massier out of 9th, with the 1 of Brandon Bennett out of P10. The 81 of Corey Williamson will be out of 11th, with the 5 of Mark Pintycup out of 12th. The 17 of Christian Budd, first person to not lay down a lap, will be in 13th, with the 38 of Thomas Harmon starting out of 14th. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez will be out of 15th. Dustin German in the 99 out of 16th. And last but not least, the 18 car of Brian Beach will be out of 17th position. 17 cars to take the green flag here at the ISM Raceway. I keep almost saying Speedway because it's natural for me to say Speedway. 130 laps. It's definitely going to be an interesting race. As everyone looks like they're already set and ready to go. Pace car goes in, the first start is on green. All the restarts are going to be on the leader. We're off and racing now. Derek Myers and Jaron Sanchez lead us away. It looks like Jerry Glenn did not get the best of starts there. And it looks like we are going to have a SSR 1-2 as we come through the dogleg for the first time. Derek Myers and Gerald West taking up the top 2 positions with the 4 Jaron Sanchez just behind them. It looks like we've got a little bit of a battle brewing for 4th here with the 12 and a 98. That's Matt Burgess and Jerry Glenn. But they've gone single file for now, but they were side by side just earlier. 24 of Frank Isaacson looking like he's also having a little bit of issue. A little bit too deep there into 1 and 2. It's allowed the 13 of Travis Massier to get on his inside just behind them. Thomas Harmon making his charge through the field already. Up and into the 9th position just in front of Chris Champeau. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez following him through as well. 13 of Travis Massier still trying to work on the low side of Frank Isaacson. Frank taking the proper track while we see Travis and Thomas going through the dogleg. Almost 3 wide going into turn 3. Thomas desperate to make up as many positions as he can here. Frank concedes position and here comes Thomas to try and work over Travis Massier now. 88 of Jonathan Hernandez getting on the inside of Frank as well. But back up at the front of the pack, and it is all Derek Myers and SSR. Get a field streaming along behind them. Have a look at the back of the Derek Myers car here. As soon as I find the right button to press, there it is. Everyone just behind him coming through turns 3 and 4. And I've got to say, I'm surprised everything's looking pretty calm right now. No one really making any desperate moves. No one's crashed. Everyone still has all their fingers and toes that I am aware of. but this could change in a second with this battle pack going on here. We've got the 2 of Chris Champeau, the 24 of Frank Isaacson, the 18 of Brian Beach, the 17 of Christian Budd in there, and the 99 of Dustin German as well. Those hard, fast racing for these guys as we almost go 3 wide going through the dog leg. At the moment, Frank holding on strong to that 11th position. But things could change very quickly here, especially with Christian Budd in the mix. And there goes Brian Beach into 11th now. Frank's going to try and defend himself for 12th. But it's hard to defend against Christian Budd, who's going to try and get 2 for 1 as he feeds the right rear to Brian Beach going into turn 3. Christian Budd getting very aggressive with the competition right now. And that is just about the end of that battle. So let's go back and check in on our leaders. A little bit of a gap starting to form here between the 2 teammates to the tune of about half a second. Everyone just seems a bit calm. No one is doing anything too crazy. Well, besides Christian, who is feeding the right rear to people. But that's okay, we don't mind a little bit of bip and barge every now and then. Let's go through the field and see where everyone is at. Obviously, Derek Myers in the lead with his teammate Gerald West in P2. Got the 4 of Jaron Sanchez sitting in 3rd. The 98 of Jerry Glenn in 4th. 12 of Matt Burgess is holding on to 5th with Tommy Bordeaux up 1 position into P6. But just behind him, his old sparring partner, the 38 of Thomas Harmon in 7th. And looking racy, up 7 positions. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez following him through the field in 8th. Travis Massier in the 13 is 9th with the 2 of Chris Champeau just on his tail. Just behind them is the 17 of Christian Budd. So we're going to stick with these guys and see whether Christian can get around them cleanly. We've seen a little bit of a chink in the armour of Christian Budd the past couple of weeks. Done at the back so he didn't hold up the chase contenders. But yeah, it's proved to be a little bit of a downturn for him. One of the most dominant drivers we've seen, 5 wins in a row last week, was not even a factor in the result. Looking like it's going to be much the same way here today as well. Not being able to get around Chris Champeau for the 10th position yet. I do say yet though, he's running that yellow line. Very hard line to run. Get a little bit of extra grip from running that painted yellow line. Now he's passed to a Chris Champeau, but whether he can hold it or not, Chris trying to fight back around the outside, not able to hold on. And just in front of them, we've got a battle brewing as well. The 13 of Travis Massier trying to work over the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. The inaugural champion of the Output Racing League, Tommy Bordeaux. Unfortunately, we haven't been seeing too much of him lately. Being a little bit too busy to race and not having good results. Hasn't not been that much of a factor at all. See the 17 of Christian Budd now working over the inside of the 13 of Travis Massier, getting that position easily into turn 3. Travis trying to use the momentum of the outside to counter-attack. Trying to look for the low line into turn one, thinking better of it at the moment. That's going to be Christian Budd up into 9th. Travis Massey down to 10th. Now Christian is going to try and work over Tommy Bordeaux. But the gaps at the front of the pack are growing at the moment. Just having a look now, Derek Myers has opened up to just about a full second lead over Gerald West. And Gerald himself has about a 2.3 second lead over the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. As we can see a little bit of a battle starting to brew here for the 4th and 5th positions. Jerry Glenn is currently the driver holding on to the 4th position. The 12 of Matt Burgess wants it. Very close as they're coming through turn 2. The 38 of Thomas Harmon just looming in the background there ever so ominously. Burgess getting very close to the tail of Jerry Glenn there, trying to figure out a way around him. Jerry defending without really trying to defend. But at the moment it looks like Jerry Glenn holding on to the position. Matt Burgess backing off a little bit here, looking like he's going to go and try and save his tires a little bit, running a slightly higher line, but that's going to leave him vulnerable to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. And I think something's happened at the front here. The gap for the leaders has closed down quite significantly, as I think, yep, we are starting to get into some lap traffic. The 54 of Derek Myers getting around the first car, which was Frank Isaacson, who's just been tapped. Frank Isaacson goes half around, manages to save it though. No, he's around now. And the safety car is out. So let's go back and have a look at what's happened here. Coming out of turn 2, Frank holding the top of the line there. Gerald West just coming up into him slightly. I think he was expecting Frank to go up a lot higher on the track there, to be fair. So that is our first caution of the race. Frank Isaacson around up to contact with the second place driver of Gerald West. You see the cars starting to go into the pits now. We're not going to bring anyone up for an interview. Now, anyone played a game? It looks like the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux staying out. He gets to the line before the leaders get there, so Tommy Bordeaux has officially led a lap of the race. Frank Isaacson having to wait until the next time around to pit. Now let's see who's going to win the race off of pit road. It's going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, taking 2 tires to take control of the race coming off of pit road. So there is some strategy for you, as we see the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux going down into the pits now with Frank Isaacson. But Jonathan Hernandez taking the lead with a 2-tire stop. Very interesting strategy. Very bold strategy too. Have to wait and see if that'll pay off for him. So at the moment, your top 10 look like this. It's Jonathan Hernandez, Derek Myers, Jaron Sanchez, Gerald West, Jerry Glenn, Thomas Harmon, Matt Burgess, Christian Budd, Chris Champo, and Travis Massia rounding out the top 10. So Gerald must have had a little bit of a slow stop. In fact, he did. A second slower than Jaron Sanchez was able to get that position from him. And it looks like the 88 is coming back into the pits again. Not sure what was going on with Jonathan Hernandez there, but he's coming back down into the pits. So everything's going to change again. And Brandon Bennett also coming into the pits. Same with Mark Pentikoff, as we're now on 1 to green. So that's going to give control of this race back to the 54 of Derek Myers. He's chosen to go down to the inside lane. Leader does have lane choice on the restarts. Jaron Sanchez starting from second, but Derek is going to have his teammate Gerald West starting behind him again. And I'm pretty sure this is the same top 4 in the same order with how we started this race. Derek, Jaron, Gerald, and Jerry. Derek must be scared. He's surrounded by guys whose names start with J. As the pace car goes in, bottom lane stacked up a little bit there, a little bit of contact. But we're back underway. Derek getting a huge jump there. Jaron and Gerald battling it out for P2. For the most part, they've gone single file here in the top 5. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to be battling it out pretty hard here, as we see some 3 wide action just behind them. I think the 17 of Christian Budd was involved in that. He was. It's on the inside of Chris Champo and the 12 of Matt Burgess as we go 3 wide again to 4. Jaron Sanchez into the wall. And Jerry Glenn is around. That is a big crash. Big crash, big damage. We're going to have to go back and have a look at that one. So we see Jaron hitting the wall coming off the turn 4 there. He got down into Thomas. Thomas went down into Jerry. Both of them loose. It looks like Thomas is going to save it here, but Jerry just overcorrected ever so slightly. Or the 2 of Chris Champo might have a little bit of damage from that. The 99 of Dustin German, nowhere to go, plowing straight into the driver's door of Jerry Glenn. Jerry is dead. That is a death right there. The car was into the passenger seat from the driver's side. So that is going to be Jerry's race done. Dustin German looks like he's going to be having a bit of a hard time as well, and Jaron's going to have a little bit of damage to fix on his machine. Interesting to see whether Chris Champo survived with any damage or not. Car is looking fairly alright. Let's have a look at it from the cockpit cam. No visible damage that I can see. So I think he was a lucky man in that respect. So we see the strategy starting to play out. Some guys staying out because there's not many laps on these tyres. Pretty sure the 24 of Frank Isaacson is going to be a wave around car here, after causing the first caution, not getting involved in the second wreck. But Matt Burgess in the 12 is now officially the leader. So we'll have to wait until they come across the line this time to see how things are going to shake out position-wise. Alright, let's go through the order. We got Matt Burgess followed by Tommy Bordeaux, Brandon Bennett, Mark Pentikoff, who is behind Mark. It's going to be Derek Myers, then Gerald West, then Chris Champo, Christian Budd. I can see the 18 of Brian Beach there as well. Pretty sure Brian's in the 9th position there. We'll go through the order again when we get the 1 to go and see how the chips fall from there. Brandon Bennett coming down to the pits, not wanting to risk it in front of the fast guys. We're on 1 to green now. Let's see which lane the 12 of Matt Burgess will pick. Looks like he's picking the low side. So it's Matt Burgess, Tommy Bordeaux, Mark Pentecoff, Derek Myers, Gerald West, Chris Champo, Christian Budd, Brian Beach, Travis Massier, and Thomas Harmon in your top 10. Jonathan Hernandez, Corey Williamson, Jaron Sanchez, Frank Isaacson, and Brandon Bennett wrapping up the field. Now we just got to wait for the pace car to go in and see where Matt Burgess is going to make the jump. The first time Derek Myers has not started from the pole in this race. Pace car is in. And it's an early jump from Matt Burgess.
Go. Green flag.
Mark Pentecoff holding on to third for the moment, but Derek Myers working his way around the outside. 57 of Tommy Bordeaux's right up there as well, making a challenge for the lead. Going to the low side of Matt Burgess. Nothing doing at the moment. Derek Myers has caught up to these two in front. See what he can do. 3 wide in turns 3 and 4 for the 4th place. Chris Champo backing out of that to make the battle a little bit less dangerous. And it looks like the 54 of Derek Myers is going to take 2nd place away from Matt Burgess. Now it's going to be Gerald West's turn to pass him. A little bit of action going here just behind these guys though. Look at that. Way these guys all spread out and then come back together. 3 wide in 3 and 4. Thomas not wanting to give up that challenging position. In fact, he takes the advantage of it. 17 of Christian Budd pulls back and allows Thomas to get 2 for 1 going up the middle of Brian Beach and Christian Budd. It looks like the 57 of Chris Champo and the 12 of Matt Burgess still battling it out here just in front of these guys as well. And now battling over the 3rd position. Still holding on to the advantage is Matt Burgess. And here comes the 2 of Chris Champo as well. He has been having some absolutely electric racing now. It's great to see Christian doing. It's great to see Chris doing so well. 57 of Tommy Bordeaux now starting to get trapped there on the outside a little bit. But he's got himself sorted out and in position now. And things are going to start calming down a little bit here. Probably still see some of these guys on the older tyres dropping back. But the tyre performance should have equalised out a little bit here, as now we have a battle between Tommy Bordeaux and the 18 of Brian Beach. Tommy Bordeaux slipping back behind Brian Beach and Christian Budd now. And Christian going to try and work on the low side of Brian Beach, using the dogleg to every single advantage he can get. And that is now Christian Budd up into the 6th position. Close, hard, fast racing here at the ISM Raceway. As we are going to go back and check on our leaders. Derek Myers well out in the lead in front of his teammate Gerald West again. Derek is one of the best poised drivers to take out this championship away from Thomas Harmon. Darren Sanchez, the other championship protagonist, down in 10th at the moment. So not a good race for Darren after he hit the wall there. In saying that, 12 of Matt Burgess doing very well to hold on to third here with slightly older tyres. Here comes Thomas Harmon now to the inside of Chris Champeau. Takes the position away. That is going to be Thomas Harmon up into fourth. Every position that Thomas makes it just that little bit harder for Derek to try and capture his first championship. And now Thomas trying to work over the tail of Matt Burgess. Oh, and the two of Chris Champeau just smashed the wall coming off of turn 2. He has just lost a lot of momentum and a lot of real estate there to everyone else, dropping back behind Christian Budd to 6th place. That's going to be Christian up into P5. That's going to allow Christian to start making his charge towards Thomas Harmon, who is, looks like he's unable to try and make a move around the 12 of Matt Burgess. We'll keep an eye on Thomas here for a little bit, because he's got the guys that he'll be battling with just around him. And Matt's not doing a bad job either. He's only about a second behind Gerald West in 2nd place. But this is where the battle is at. In fact, there's a little bit of a battle going on just behind these guys as well. The 2 of Chris Champeau and the 18 of Brian Beach. In the background, we can also see the 4 of Darren Sanchez trying to work over the inside of Tommy Bordeaux. And there's quite a bit of damage there on the back of the 18 car. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but that definitely looks nasty. Chris Champeau at the moment holding on strong around the outside. And I think we have a development up there for that battle for third. We do. Thomas Harmon now in 3rd place. Christian Budd worked his way into 4th, and that's going to be Matt Burgess dropping down to 5th. But we completely missed that battle by looking at the other battle that was going on in this race. It looks like just for the moment at least things are starting to calm down a little bit here again. 12 of Matt Burgess trying to work his way back up to the inside of Christian Budd, using the dogleg to its full extent, but Christian is too strong at the moment, holding on to position there. And Matt just lost quite a bit of ground there to Christian Budd. That's crazy how much ground he's just lost. Go and check back in with our leader, Derek Myers, who is just 7 seconds behind Brandon Bennett, who is 2 laps down at the moment. Possibly going to go another lap down here very shortly. Saying that, his times are not bad in comparison to the leaders, only losing a few tenths per lap. Derek looking calm, controlled and collected here in his lead. Right, so much so that he's pulling away from his teammate Gerald West by quite a margin. Almost a full second consistently around the track in front of his teammate. So let's open up the radio airwaves here. Let's see what these drivers are talking about when they key up their mics. as we're going to go I Spy on this battle here. See the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez is in there. 2 of Chris Champo, the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, and the 18 of Brian Beach. Chris just trying to survive around the outside there. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez working his way around the inside. That's for the 6th position. And Hernandez does take 6th away from Chris Champo. Now Chris wants to battle back on Jonathan, just about giving him a little bit of a tap there coming into turn 2. Thinking better of it though, and that's actually allowed Jaron to close up on him, and the 18 of Brian Beach as well, trying to take advantage around the outside of Jaron. Brian doing the switchback on Jaron, going from outside to inside, but it didn't quite work out for him. He's lost a lot of ground. Travis Masia now working around the outside of Brian Beach. These drivers are starting to get a little bit tight tire where it is starting to affect them. Run up very high in turn 2, just about clouting the wall. Chris Champo not going to lie down and let bygones be bygones, trying to battle back at Jonathan Hernandez. This is just one of those epic little tug of wars. Got to give and take. Go for a move. You can't pull out of it and lose too much time, or else the guy behind you is going to either run you over or he's going to take your position from you. Which is what we saw there with the 18 of Brian Beach. Went for the move on Jaron, ended up losing it to the 13 of Travis Masia. And now Jaron with the inside run on Chris Champo, just about. Had a sniff of a move there, didn't quite work out for him, and Travis Masia actually now pulling in on the back of Jaron. The 88 Jonathan Hernandez going very wide in turns 3 and 4. That has allowed Chris Champo up on his inside. Now can Chris use this and take it to his advantage? Maybe not, because the 4 Jaron Sanchez is trying to work around the outside as well. This is the best battle that we've got on the track at the moment. 5 cars battling for the 6th position. Oh, and Hernandez gets into the wall in the middle of turn 3, and he's just lost 2 positions to Jaron Sanchez and to Travis Masia. In fact, he's lost 3 because Chris Champo as well. Jaron now getting tight on entry in the corner of 1 and 2, and he's just lost 2 positions to the 18 of Brian Beach and to the 13 of Travis Masia. And this has allowed Chris Champo to gap these guys here a little bit. Chris actually looking fairly strong in these later runs as Jaron battles back around the outside of Brian Beach to take back the 8th position. Let's go back in and quickly check in on our leader. He's got a 1.5 second lead. So he's absolutely pulling it out. And we've got a caution on the track. Oh, and it's the battle pack that we were watching. Let's go back and have a look at what's transpired here. Coming out of turn 4, Jaron Sanchez into the wall again.
Oh, sorry, Sanchez, you hit that bitch, I hit the brakes. I was like, come on, Jimmy.
The 18 of Brian Beach, nowhere to go, just plowing into the back of Jaron. Brian also getting down into the inside wall.
I'm done, I'm parking.
And Jonathan Hernandez, nowhere to go, straight through Jaron. 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. Oh no, he's into the inside wall as well. Somehow he managed to stay off Jaron. That was amazing. And Jaron flipping the mid vehicle. See massive damage to that car. Jaron Sanchez, OUT, out of this race. So let's see if we can bring league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez into the booth and have a quick chat with him. Hey Jaron, Corey up in the booth, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir.
Turn 4 is not your lucky corner tonight, is it?
Yeah, I got tight on there a couple times, and you lift and it just still comes at you, and yeah, sucks. But I've had a lot of good luck lately, good races, and this is just a bad race for me.
Well, man, you can always keep your chin up. There is always next week until there's no more next weeks. But Michigan Speedway next week, not a bad track for you. What's the feeling like for yourself going into there?
Oh yeah, I feel a lot better going under there. I'm getting better at these short tracks, getting better with the brake pedal, but still not 100% there. But I was getting held up a little bit, and I wanted to pass those guys, and I was just getting too greedy.
All right, man. Well, anyone you'd like to give a quick shout out to while we got you up here in the booth?
Oh yeah, all these drivers are always, thanks for coming out, and people watching, my wife watching, and you doing the broadcast. Thanks again.
All right, thank you very much, man. Good luck next week after these unfortunate circumstances today. All right, guys. So that is the 4 of Jaron Sanchez crashing twice tonight in turn 4. How's the irony on that one? So things are not looking good for our league owner and operator there. But hopefully next week we go back to a good track for him, which is Michigan. And maybe look at getting a slightly better result. So having a look at the field as we're coming across the line here. Couple cars going into the pits. Looks like we've got Gerald West, Derek Myers in second. Thomas Harmon third, Christian Budd fourth, Chris Champeau in fifth, Travis Massio P6, Frank Isaacson seventh, Mark Pentikoff eighth, Brian Beach ninth, Tommy Bordeaux in 10th, Jonathan Hernandez and Matt Burgess in 11th and 12th. Brandon Bennett, the first car, one lap down in 13th position. So let's jump on with the rear bumper cam of Gerald West here. Let's have a watch of this restart as we can see the front of Thomas Harmon's car. Couple of scratches on there from where he's had to get a little bit rough with a couple cars. Alright, the paint shop will fix that up next week. We're off and racing. Gerald with a big jump. Thomas Harmon just about going with him as well. As we go back to the outside view of the race. 38 Thomas Harmon working around the inside of Derek Myers, trying to take away that second position. Looks like Thomas is going to take that second position away from Derek. But maybe not. Derek fighting back coming off of turn 4, getting a really good run. I notice the outside of turn 3 and 4, you can always get a really nice run coming out of there. But Derek still holding on very strong, trying to take that second place back away from Thomas. And it's going to be hard to look anywhere else on the track at the moment because these guys are just fighting so hard. It looks like Thomas has actually fallen out of the second place fight there. There's 17 of Christian Budd trying to work around the outside of Thomas as well. And it looks like he gets there. So that's Thomas dropping from second all the way back to fourth now. Some of the rest of the pack, looks like everyone's barely single filed at the moment. So let's see what these teammates can do now that the roles are reversed. Gerald West in the lead, Derek Myers in P2. And the added pressure of the 17 of Christian Budd being right behind them. As we are going to go and have a look. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez trying to work over the bumper of the 5 of Mark Pensicup. Just behind them is the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux. And Jonathan just about going so low there that he was going to take out the pit exit cone. Gets around the inside of Mark Pensicup going into turn 3. There's going to be Jonathan Hernandez up into the 7th position. A little bit of smoke on the track. I'm not sure whether that was from someone sliding or someone blinking. It looks like we've got another battle just back here a little bit as well. The 12 of Matt Burgess working on the inside of the 1 of Brandon Bennett. Now the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux working on the inside of Mark Pensicup. Here comes the 12 of Matt Burgess as well. He wants a piece of Mark Pensicup as well. And here he goes, Matt Burgess. And he gets around Mark. That is going to be Matt up into 9th. Mark down to P10. Falling from grace, so it would seem. As we are going to go back in and check on our leaders. A lot tighter this time between our top 3. Gerald unable to pull away from Derek, and Derek with Christian Budd right on his tail. So let's go and have a look at this battle for second. Christian and Derek fighting tooth and nail here for the second position. Derek fighting for a championship. Christian wanting to make up for his losses from last week. Like these guys are just fairly stoic in positioning right now. No one really making a move just yet. Not putting their cards on the table. One thing's for sure, Derek definitely has pace here. In fact, he's just about got some overlap and going for a move on his teammate. Close quarters action for the SSR boys coming out of turn 4. Any lap now, Derek will probably be looking for the overtake. But at the moment, still status quo for these guys at the front of the pack. And this has now become a 4-way battle for the lead. Thomas Harmon just slowly and steadily pulling up to the back of Christian Budd. Just laying his chips on the table one by one here. Not putting them all out there just yet. Yeah, close everyone's getting to that wall coming off turn 4. Oh, and that's Gerald into the wall coming off of turn 2. Derek and Christian having to make avoiding action there. And now that is going to be a change for the lead with Christian Budd taking over top spot. Derek Myers sitting there in second now. Gerald West falling all the way back to 4th if he can't hold on to this battle with Thomas Harmon. Thomas looking very determined to take that 3rd place away from him, and he has, in fact, taken that pass. Christian Budd is back in a very familiar position now, being in the lead of this race. Let's see if he can hold it, because Derek Myers, as I said earlier, looking very strong here at ISM. I reckon sitting behind his teammate, he might have been just sandbagging a little bit, saving his tyres ever so slightly for this eventual circumstance. We're 80 laps out of 130 into this race. Derek Myers now looking at an inside run coming into turn 1. Got the overlap. Can he get the move made? Takes a huge amount of the apron and the dog leg. Not as much as Christian. Christian took just enough to hold on to the position at the moment. Track's going to become very hard to pass on, especially as the tires wear out. Saying that, it's also very possible that we could see possibly a bump and run at some point. But at the moment, Christian Budd still holding on to this lead. Derek Myers second, Thomas Harmon in third. Fourth place is still Gerald West, who is losing touch with this top group a little bit here. In fact, very shortly he's going to be under pressure from the 13 of Travis Massia. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez in P6. And he is going to have to deal with the 2 of Christian Poe coming up behind him. 12 of Matt Burgess in 8th place, with the 57 of Tommy Bordeaux in 9th. Ryan Beach in the 18, managing to stay on track this time in 10th position. I say that because he usually has terrible luck with our races. He ends up spinning out and being OUT out of the race, but he's doing well, holding on to a top 10 position at the moment. But Mark Pentecup in the 5 and 11th, and a 24 of Frank Isaacson in 12th. The last car on the lead lap, but maybe not for much longer. Only 9 seconds in front of our leader at the moment. Speaking of our leaders, we've got a battle going on for the 4th position. Gerald trying to defend from the 13th of Travis Massia. Gerald holding on strong around the outside at the moment. Travis still battling away very hard on the inside. Unable to get the move made. Slots back into 5th. And Derek Myers looking very ominous there on the back of Christian Budd. We're going to watch this from the gyro cam of the 38 car. Get them both taking a slightly wider entry to maximize the amount of exit they can get with a late apex. Derek, thinking he has the advantage now, pulls out of it coming into turn 1. Had his nose up there for a brief moment. He could be trying to force a mistake by Christian Budd. And it looks like he's up there now on the inside. Oh, Thomas, what are you doing, mate? Getting too low there in 1 and 2, just hitting the apron ever so slightly, getting loose. Not how you drive around here, Thomas. Naughty. Let's go back to these guys battling it out for the lead. Christian Budd on the outside, Derek Myers on the inside. And these guys seem very evenly matched at the moment. The way that they're positioned. Only a matter of time will tell whether they can stay like this or whether they have to break formation and go single file for a bit. At the moment, Christian Budd trying everything he can, going a little bit too wide there in 1 and 2, gifting the lead back to Derek Myers. And in other news, Travis Massier has gotten around Gerald West for 4th place. And let's see what Derek can do now that he's back in the lead of this race and just ever so slightly pulling away from Christian Budd. Now Christian is used to being the dominant force, but at the moment he is being outshined by Derek Myers. I think I also seen the 86 of Gerald West heading into the pits. Obviously the damage is too great. He's going to have to put a new set of tires on the machine. Derek Myers holding on. In fact, no, we're just getting some green flag stops. The 17 of Christian Budd coming into the pits. Let's see if Derek is going to pick this time around then. I forget that this track is so small but so big that the laps are just counting down very quickly. No pit stop this time for Derek or Thomas. They're coming up on the lap traffic of Frank Isaacson. Going 1 lap down this time. Frank is now the first car 1 lap down. Thomas in the pits. Derek trying to extend his lead here a little bit. He'll be wanting to pit here soon, unless he is hoping for a late caution. Help him get a good result at another track previously. And no, he's coming to the pits this time. Can't hold on to it any longer. And we are 34 laps away from the end of this race. So this pit stop is very, very important. You can make it to the end from here. This is actually going to leave the 13 of Travis Massier in the lead, getting his first points for leading the lap. He's coming into the pits this time, which is going to give the lead to Matt Burgess in the 12. Trying to have a look at where everyone is shaking out behind these guys. But Christian Budd is in front of Thomas Harmon, so is Gerald West. The 12 of Matt Burgess is coming in this time. Chris Champeau has stayed out. So has Jonathan Hernandez. There goes the 17 of Christian Budd, who has gotten out in front of Derek. In fact, Gerald West is also in front of Derek, but Derek will have fresher tyres than both of those guys. And Chris Champeau and Jonathan Hernandez coming into the pits this time. And that is actually going to hand over the lead of the race to the 5 of Mark Pentecoff, who still has not pit yet either. You can hear him shifting quite severely there, dealing with a lot of understeer. His front tires must be absolutely roasted. Look at how much steering angle he has on that thing. Let's go inside his car. Let's watch his hands here and the wheel. See how much steering input he's putting into this. Oh yeah, look at that. His front tires are absolutely roasted. And just behind him is actually going to be the 17 of Christian Budd, the effective leader of this race. In fact, will be the leader of this race very shortly. Derek Myers sitting back there in second. 3-lap fresher tyres than Christian, as Christian now takes the lead from Mark Pentecoff. And at the moment, as it stands, nobody is a lap down. Mark it down, lap 102. Not one person is a single lap down. Besides, the 4 who've crashed. Let's go back and see how Derek Myers is going to deal with Mark Pentecoff. Just cuts underneath him like he was standing still. Look at the speed difference as they got into turn 3. That was incredible. Mark still not pitting yet. Maybe hoping for a late race caution here. Frank Isaacson also still out on track. So is Brandon Bennett. Those 3 drivers not pitted yet for in the green flag stops here. Hoping for a late caution, maybe, possibly. We see Thomas Harmon battling it out with Gerald West. This is for 3rd and 4th. Gerald came into the pits very early compared to Thomas. In fact, I say very early, but it really wasn't. It was only 3 laps. We saw in the background behind him, Mark Pentecoff getting very familiar with the middle of turns 3 and 4. Just about ploughing himself into the wall there. Gerald West looking like he's just not that settled here at the moment. Hitting the wall again coming out of turn 2. And he's hit the wall so much he might actually have a little bit of damage there to his steering, possibly. It looks like Brandon Bennett has bitten the bullet and has come in for his pit stop. Guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will make the run to the finish here for Output Racing League race number 16 from the ISM Raceway. Alrighty guys, we are back and we are under caution. Just having a little look, see here, we see the 5 and the 13. Oh, Mark Pentecoff getting into the back of Travis Massia. And Mark Pentecoff has gone around, bringing out the caution. We've got 20 laps to go in this race. This is definitely going to shake up the entire field. See, Mark managed to pull it up before he hit the wall there. The caution does fly here at the ISM Raceway. And Jonathan Hernandez has stayed out on his 12-lap old tires. He's coming into the pits this time. He wants to go to the back of the pack. Brandon Bennett, who was tucked in just behind him there. I think he's going to try and get a wave around here. Brandon was actually on pit road when the caution came out. So the way it stands right now is going to be Christian Budd, followed by Derek Myers, Thomas Harmon, Matt Burgess, Gerald West, Travis Massia, Tommy Bordeaux, Chris Champo, Frank Isaacson, and Brian Beach in your top 10. So Christian, Derek, Thomas, Matt, and Gerald is your top 5. These guys have been at the pointy end of the field the entire race. We know these 5 drivers are quick, but you also can't count out that 13 of Travis Massia. He's been showing us some good racing here lately. We'll just have to wait and see how things go. We are on 1 to green now. Brandon Bennett getting his wave around. Brandon Bennett now only 2 laps down. He was 3 laps down. But either way, guys, 17 laps to go when we get the green flag. We're down to 12 on the lead lap. 13 cars circulating. Christian Budd on the pole. Gets to the side when he goes. Pace car is in. And we're off and racing here again.
Go, go, go. Green flag.
Derek Myers was trying to take the advantage and take the lead. Unable to do so. Thomas Harmon slipping into 3rd. Matt Burgess in 4th with Gerald West in 5th. And now Derek Myers gets the inside run on Christian Budd. Christian going to try and defend it on the outside. Side-to-side contact. Christian has gone sideways. Holds onto it. Loses a lot of track position though. He has fallen all the way back to 5th now. It's going to be Derek Myers up in the lead of the race. Thomas Harmon in 2nd. Let's open up the radio waves. Let's see if we can hear what these drivers are talking about, if they're going to start talking to each other at all. Derek Myers is in the lead. And now Christian Budd trying to work on the inside of... Wow, did we just about have 4 wide there? 57 of Tommy Bordeaux, 2 of Chris Champo, the 18 of Brian Beach, and the 13 of Travis Massia. I swear they'll just about through wide. And Thomas! Something's happened to Thomas here. Let's back it up and have a quick look at what's happened to Thomas. I'm sorry, it's Thomas. We've got to have a look. And, oh, he clouted the wall coming off turn 4. That is unfortunate. Getting back up to this battle, though. And it is hard, fast racing right here. The 57 is just behind the 2. Just behind them. They were battling it out. There's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez in there as well, just behind the 13 of Travis Massia. Looks like these guys have just settled things down for the moment. 14 laps to go, 13 when we get to the line this time. Now it's time to calm down and go back and check in on our leaders. It's an SSR 1-2. Derek Myers in the lead, Gerald West in second, with Christian Budd in the 17 in third. Now back to the battle pack here, forming for 5th and 6th position. But no, this is 6th and 7th. Travis Massia on the inside of Tommy Bordeaux. But Brian Beach still up in there, and Jonathan Hernandez as well. Oh, Travis just about getting into the left rear of Tommy Bordeaux there, but able to miss him. And now that's going to give the advantage to Brian Beach to try and get up on his inside. Unable to do so. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez fighting around the outside of Brian Beach at the moment. And it looks like Jonathan Hernandez is going to take that position away from Brian Beach on the outside. Now he's going to try and look to the outside of the 13 of Travis Massia. Jonathan Hernandez is an alien, ladies and gentlemen. It is confirmed, taking these outside passes on such a small track. He still has the overlap, and at the line, it is still Travis Massia's position. But going into turn 1, that has now become Jonathan Hernandez's position. Just behind them is also Thomas Harmon recovering from that wall hit. And it looks like we've got a battle going on for second as well. The 17 trying to get around the outside of the 86 of Gerald West. Unable to do so at the moment. Oh, and Christian Budd into the wall coming off turn 4. Everyone is starting to drive well beyond what these tyres can take at the moment. All the pressure is on except for Derek Myers, who is just walking away with this race. 1.7 second lead over these guys at the moment. Now it looks like the action has calmed down a little bit here. We still do have a little bit of a fight on our hands with the 57 and the 88. Oh, and something's just happened. I just blinked. That's what it looks like to blink, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know. Well, going back up to these guys at the lead, it looks like the 12 of Matt Burgess wants to try and get third place away from Christian Budd in the 17 car. Let's see if he is able to make the move stick. Christian getting into the wall, coming off turn 2 there. That's just going to hurt him more than it is going to help him. They're putting all their cards on the table right now. Everyone is all in right at this very moment. Except for Derek Myers, absolutely walking away with the lead of this race over his teammate Gerald West. And Gerald's going to have to be careful here because the 17 of Christian Budd and the 12 of Matt Burgess closing in on his tail. And it looks like we have a change of position at the back there. Jonathan Hernandez getting around Tommy Bordeaux for the 6th position. Brian Beach was looking like he was going to try and make a move there as well, as Gerald West gets right up close and personal with that turn 2 exit wall. And that has invited 17 of Christian Budd to get right up in his Kool-Aid right now. Tommy Bordeaux seems to be struggling a little bit here. Looks like he was going to lose that position to Brian Beach around his outside. In fact, he hasn't. Brian Beach just dropped down the order a little bit. He might have hit the wall coming out of turn 2. He's losing a lot of time, actually. Thomas Harmon has worked his way back up into 9th position. And now it's time maybe for Matt Burgess to look at making his move, and he's going to do his dive down to the inside of the 17 of Christian Budd. Trying to get the move into turn 1. We got 4 laps to go, 3 at the line. Christian Budd now trying to work around the outside of Gerald West. We're just about 3 wide going into turn 3. Gerald holding on to second for the moment, but here comes Christian Budd trying to get the outside overlap, unable to do so.
Tommy.
Coming up to these inside now, going into 1 and 2. Can Christian Budd get second place away from Gerald West? We'll have to wait and see. 2.5 laps left to go in this race. 17 Christian Budd using all the apron he can to try and take the advantage. He knows the outside has the momentum. There's a little bit of side-to-side contact coming out of turn 4. And Christian Budd slots back into the 3rd position. He knew if he was going to keep up with that battle, he was probably going to lose 3rd to the 12 of Matt Burgess. But Gerald West gets into the wall, and that is going to give 2nd place to Christian Budd. And now Matt Burgess is up into 3rd. And Matt trying to work over the 17 of Christian Budd, trying to take that 2nd position away. Gerald West not that far behind these guys though, trying to get back to where he was. He says, hey fellas, I was in 2nd, let me have it again. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. Derek Myers is absolutely running away with this. Matt Burgess with a terrible run through turns 1 and 2 that time. And it looks like this is going to be the way it finishes. Gerald trying to desperate send it full on the outside of turn 4. It's not going to work. Here comes Derek Myers to take the win. 17 of Christian Budd 2nd. The 12 of Matt Burgess 3rd. The 86 of Gerald West in 4th. Chris Champeau with another excellent result, banking himself another top 5. Jonathan Hernandez debuting for the team in P6. Travis Macias 7th, Thomas Harmon in 8th, Tommy Bordeaux in 9th, Frank Isaacson 10th, Mark Pentecoff 11th, and Brandon Bennett, the last of our finishers, 2 laps down, the only car a lap down. Brian Beach, Jaron Sanchez, Corey Williamson, Jerry Glenn, Dustin German, all DNFs. So now it's time for the burnouts. If you have access to the Tier 2 burnout emote here at the Aussie Sim Commentator Twitch channel, I suggest you spam it in the chat right now. Derek Myers, your race winner at the ISM Raceway. Alright guys, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty, guys, we are back down here at the ISM Raceway for the Speedway Memes Hard Charger Award. Today's Hard Charger, not very big gains, but he started in 8th and he finished in 5th for another top 5 finish. Excellent result. We are talking to the 2-car of Chris Champo. Chris, excellent race, man. There was action-packed all throughout. What was the race like for you, especially not going so crash hot in practice?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting race. There was a fair amount of cautions for what we normally have, so I think in a way that helped me, but I also was real good in the long runs, oddly enough. So it it was weird. It was a very interesting race. I'm still shocked that I'm the hard charger. I really, you know, I qualified okay. I thought I finished pretty well, but I didn't feel like I really moved up through the field at all. So I'm happy to be talking to you, I guess.
Now, and mostly in the middle part of that race, we seen you involved in a lot of battles. What was it like trying to figure out a way of getting around and hoping not to be the caution, get caught up in a caution, or cause the caution?
Yeah, well, the good thing here is I actually feel like this is a relatively easy track to pass people on, but because of that, someone might get around you, but you're going to get a run on the outside or they might get around the inside. So it breeds battles, I think, and it's a lot of fun and it's really fun to be a part of it. And it just goes to show you how good some of the guys are in this league, and actually, really all the guys are in this league, that we can have those battles and be, 6 inches apart from each other, running around this track at I don't know what 140 miles an hour and not hit each other. And it's not like you're in a real car where you really have that sense of being next to someone. So it says a lot about how guys can listen to their spotter and follow the line and just be aware of how other fast drivers are driving around the track. So I think the battles are fun, but I think it says a lot about the league and the quality of the racers in the league.
Now, we were talking a little bit just before we came back on the air again here, and you said that you had to do something that was completely out of your comfort zone, which was run a slightly higher line to just get a little bit of extra speed. Do you want to talk us through that a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny. I really struggle at this track, and this was one track I was not looking forward to racing. And so, um, after a couple after the in the first run, after you get a couple laps in the tires, I was trying to see what some of the front runners were doing, and kind of entering turn three higher and trying to really, really move that apex back as far as possible. Really seemed to help, and I noticed I could get some good runs off of three or actually, I'm sorry, off of four. Um, so it's you got to adapt. You got to be able to look at the race and see what other guys are doing and try to do the same thing better or faster or whatever. But it seemed to work for us, which is surprising.
All right, man. So we know that you're a Twitch streamer. You want to quickly
Yes.
give a shout out to your channel and any other affiliated websites that you wish to shout out as well.
Yeah, we're streaming live now. Twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars. We'll be on for a little while yet, but we stream Tuesday nights, of course, for output, and we usually sometimes Friday, sometimes Saturday, usually one or the other. But we stream. We have a lot of fun giveaways. We're doing a charity, a Make a Wish charity this month, so come check out the stream. Make sure to throw a few bucks, make a kid's holiday wish come true. Um, so yeah, Twitch.tv/Champ Drives Cars.
All right. That's awesome, man. Anyone else you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
I'm gonna give a shout out to Jaron. I know he didn't have a great race tonight, but he puts together a real good league, and all the admins of the league, do a real good job. This is a real fun league, and I have a lot of fun racing here with you guys. So, uh, shout out to all those guys. Shout out to my wife Kendra for letting me race and not get mad at me for just incessantly sitting in front of a screen all night. So, uh, yeah,
All right, well, awesome. Congratulations, man. We look forward to seeing you again next week at Michigan, and hopefully you can have another cracking run there with another top 5.
that's the goal. We're gonna go out with a bang here at Michigan.
All right, guys. That was the 2 of Chris Champo. Another top 5. Excellent finish. And hopefully some bigger and brighter things for him in the future. Coming up next will be our third place getter here tonight. As I just changed scenes to where it should be, we are going to be talking to the 12 car of Matt Burgess, our in-race reporter from the pit party. Matt, crazy race there at the front, man. What was it like for your perspective, battling it out for those last, 20 laps or so?
First off, can you hear me better?
I can hear you much better now.
All right. Um, it was a blast. I mean, at last run before that final pit stop, I actually was checking and see if I could save enough fuel, but it wasn't going to work. So when I pit, I figured, well, I've been saving my tires, so up to that pit stop I had been going, and then when I pit and stuff and started watching where I was on the, I was catching people, I'm like, well, this is working out really well. And then the yellow flag came out, and I was kind of worried on that start, but I figured I could keep up around that fifth spot. But man, it was a lot of fun battling with Christian and Gerald was up there, and it was nice to see that I could keep up with him on this track or even challenge him. But I thought I could get both of them, but it just ran out of laps.
All right, man. Now let's talk about the race as a whole. Lots of stop starts, but also quite a bit of green flag running. Was it the race that you expected, and how were you with dealing with that little bit of tire fall off, especially with running the dogleg on the majority of the laps?
I kind of expected green flags as long as people weren't, slamming the wall and losing off of there. It would be okay. A couple yellow flags, kind of expected that, but the long green flag, I kind of expected that with this league now. And with the line I was taking and where I was braking and stuff, I knew I wasn't the fastest initially, but I was saving that right front, and you could tell on the long runs I could get going a little bit faster than the other guys, and then even towards the end of that last about 30 lap run with my line, I know I think Christian had some damages slowing him down, and maybe Gerald too, but um, the line I was taking was catching him, and with a few more laps, I think I could have got second. Derek was just out there, so but it was a lot of fun, and I think saving tires here is a big thing, and then with the new tire model, it's going to be even more.
All right, man. Looking forward to Michigan next week. What is that track for you?
Uh, Initially when I first started running that track, I hated it, but I just love it now, and I usually do really well there. If I don't go start, on the lead, start in the first position there and go before the pace cars in. As long as I don't do that again, I think I'll finish well there. We had a race recently in another league there, and I did really well. So I look forward to going to Michigan and seeing if I can keep up with Christian there.
All right, awesome, man. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Quick shout out to Jaron for the league. Definitely a shout out for you for doing the broadcast all the time. Shout out shout out to all the drivers that come every week. Make it a fun league, and we all have fun and laugh at at the mistakes in the practices and stuff, and even in the racing. We don't get mad at each other and have a hissy fit or anything. It's racing, and accidents happen.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out and racing, man. Congratulations on third, and we look forward to seeing you again next week at Michigan.
All right, I'll be there.
All right, guys, so that was the 12 of Matt Burgess, today's third place getter. It's good to see him getting some more good results. It's definitely going to work out kind of nicely for his championship, but not as nicely as some of the other guys. But irregardless of that, we're coming up to our next position getter, the 17 of Christian Budd, the non-chase contender, who has just been mostly dominant in this race. Christian, how you doing, man, after what was a fantastic, frustrating, and excellent-looking race?
Well, I'll tell you what, the Ford Performance Mustang was good all night. Derek Myers took a goddamn cheap shot at us. And, if he's going to take a cheap shot, he's going to get one back, I promise you.
Oh, so a little bit of drama there. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit more for us?
he just overdrove turn 3 and he got into me a little bit, but I left him plenty of room. But that's hard racing. That's NASCAR.
Indeed, it is. So last week you didn't have the best results, man. I know, you probably want to just move on from that, but we didn't get the chance to talk to you. Do you want to have a little bit of a chat about what happened to you last week as well?
Uh, the best thing to do with last week is forget last week because last week was not a good week. um, but realistically, last week was um, my fault, and I'll apologize to Jerry again because I watched the replay, and this week I definitely was more patient coming through the field. These races are long; you've got time, and it's hard to pass. These last 2 tracks we've been at, they're hard to pass. You're going to be on the bottom trying to get that run, and with these cars and with these particular tracks, they're high line dominant, and you just have to be more patient. So that's what I did not do last week, and this week I took a different approach, and ultimately it worked out pretty well.
Well, yeah, I'd say it worked out pretty well, man. You worked your way from, what was it, 13th starting position to finish in second. And I did actually notice that you're more methodical with your move through the field. So what was it like for you, trying to get around all those cars and dodge the wrecks at the same time?
Like I said, it was hard to pass. When you're on the bottom, you could be better. And what you saw was, Derek and I had a battle there for about, I don't know, 15, 20 laps or something, it felt like. And I was just clogging up the top lane on him. He was faster all night. But, you could hold him off and hold him off on the high side. And eventually, um, I overheated the right front enough that he was able to make that pass. So my only shot at that point was to cut into pit road and try and steal it at that point. And actually, I think I might have been able to get it done if we hadn't had that last caution because we had kind of stabilized on our lap times there. Um, it's so hard to pass. I don't know if he could have done it without moving me either way, but ultimately we had to caution and to restart, and that's the way that race ended.
All right, so man, looking forward to next week. We're at Michigan. What is your feelings coming into the second last race of the season?
With these cars, it'll be different. Michigan is typically really slick, but we'll have to see. What I'm hoping will happen is we have a nice hot day, and we have these cars start sliding around a little bit. And if they start sliding around, then it'll be better for me. Tonight they just weren't loose at all. I mean, they were very tight. You just hammered on the gas and then hoped it turned. But that's not really that's my ideal setup or way to drive these cars. So I'm hoping we'll have a little bit of that slickness and that looseness that we've had in these other races.
All right, man. Well, while you get you up here in the booth, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go?
Um, honestly, tonight, all the guys who raced in the top 5, uh, everybody raced really hard, and that's really why we do this. It's so fun to do that, and you know, uh, despite the contact, there was actually a lot of respect given, and you know, that's what I like. That's why I show up every week. So hats off to all those guys. I was pretty sorry to see Thomas Harmon get the wall there at the end and kind of wreck his night, but overall it was a fun race.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on P2, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Michigan.
Awesome. Thanks a lot.
Alrighty, guys. So that was the 17 of Christian Budd, one of the most dominating forces that we've seen here. Not so dominant tonight, but at least it was better than last week. Coming up next, we have a guy who is in perfect position right now to maybe capture his first Output Racing League title. We are, of course, talking to tonight's winner, the 54 of Derek Myers. Derek, damn.
Yeah, that was a hell of a race. I didn't think that was going to be a pole lap, to be honest with you, but we were pretty fast in practice and ran, like a green flag run. So instead of just trying to lay down some fast laps, I actually tried and looked at fuel stuff and just was more prepared this race, and had my wheel this time all up and running great. And yeah, I don't know where to begin with that race. Is pretty crazy, and the intense battling for sure. Not only with my teammate, who I was right there behind him, and he got in the wall, and I nearly got collected, and then with Christian and Thomas right behind, then Jaron before he had his problem. It People all over the place, but in the end, it worked out, and yeah, that's just awesome. The points look great right now.
But yeah, I was just saying, you were so dominant tonight. Like, it's just like you just took all of Christian's, good luck, and you just ran with it today. So it definitely looked like that you prepared for the race, and it was probably one of the more dominant displays that we've seen out of you so far this season.
Oh yeah, I could agree with that. Man, we have some very fast people in this league, and you know Christian, when he got in here, he won 5 races in a row, and and I was he ended my 3 race winless streak when he joined, and then I was out several weeks, and man, I in practice I learned a few things from people. I watched his in car and some others, and I already kind of knew what I was doing, but I kind of did some stuff in the turn that got me a good run off, and I think I had the best car all night. But there at the end, I had to get around Christian on a green flag run one time, and man, he made me work for that. You can't really do it on the bottom; you have to get to the outside. But I was able to hang with him through 3 and 4, and went down to 1 and 2, and then cleared him. I did the corner good, but the end of the race, that with we had like what 20 laps left, and it was just hard race. And I didn't mean to necessarily get into him barely. I went back and looked at it. I think I came up a little bit more than he maybe came down trying to keep me there, and that's my bad. I'm glad he didn't hit the wall or wreck or anything. I wasn't intending to get into him anyways. It's just hard racing as far as I'm concerned, and man, I didn't want to lose this one at all, and but almost beat him off pit road. I was hoping I could do it that way instead of on the track, but I was determined to get it done one way or another, and I'm glad I was able to do it. I felt like pretty clean, and I would expect that from someone else too.
All right, man. Now let's talk about that last 30 lap period of time. That one late caution. Do you think that that's what saved your race? Because you guys came in for the green flag stops, and Christian was a long way in front of you on the track.
Yeah, that was my inexperience to his experience on here, and you just don't. You want to be the first car to pit, but when you're the leader, you feel like, but you don't know if the caution's going to come out. But the race was a lot of green flag runs, and looking back, yeah, I should have been the first car to pit, and I think I went 2 or 3 laps later than him. Came out, I think 3.4 seconds behind him, and my team speak, they were thinking, man, I'm screwed. I'm gonna need a caution, and then I started going and was beating him by however many tenths a lap, and I was going 100% and then some, and got it down to about at 1.4, 1.5, and for about 2 laps, and then the caution came out, and I don't know. I didn't know if it was going to stabilize or what, but it was going to take perfect driving to even get to him due to my bad pit call. So um, yeah, he had a really good car too, so it was going to be hard to get to him.
So looking forward to next week. We're going to be at Michigan, one of the technically harder, longer ovals that we go to. What is it feeling like for you as we head into next week's second last round of the season?
That's going to be an interesting track for sure. High speeds, and I don't necessarily know where the line's going to be. Probably middle or something, but yeah, there's going to be. I think there'll be some wrecks for sure. It'll be close racing, and I just I hope my race. I hope it goes nice and smooth, nice top 5 maybe. But if I have a car like I did tonight, I'm going to want to win, and I took a chance there tonight, but. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. 2 races left. We're in a good position. I just don't want to ruin that. And,
All right, man. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my spotter tonight, John Wimbish. He was in our team speak. He was spotting for multiple drivers of our SSR racing team, Jerry's team. And I'd like to thank Jerry and for all the help he does and racing me good. And I think he probably got on the brakes there quite a bit when he hit that wall because I saw his car come down towards me. I think he jerked it back to the right. I'm not sure, but man, that was a good save right there. I'm glad he didn't hit me, but thanks to all my teammates, and thank you for the broadcast. And this will be a fun one to go look at again. And thank you to Jaron for putting on the league. I look forward to this every week, and tonight was just another great race. So
All right, man. Well, thank you for coming out again, and congratulations on being the best car on the night and getting the win here at ISM.
thank you. See you next week.
All right, guys. So that was the 54 of Derek Myers. As we said, the most dominant car that was on the track tonight. It was absolutely amazing to watch. But that is going to wrap up this broadcast, guys. Thank you all for coming out and watching. Really do appreciate it. And thank you to all the teams, drivers, admin, and Jaron for putting on the league and putting me in control of the broadcast. The replay will be up on YouTube tomorrow morning, my time, tomorrow night for you guys. We'll also be showing the replay on my personal Twitch channel. And also, guys, on Sunday, my Sunday night, your Sunday morning, or Saturday night, depending on how early it is in your particular part of the world, make sure you come over to my channel, twitch.tv/CoreyHasNoLife13, doing a charity stream for my brother-in-law who unfortunately lost his wife to breast cancer recently. Just trying to make Christmas a little bit easier for himself and his children. But until next week at Michigan, guys, this has been the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. Thank you guys for coming out, and we'll see you guys next week.